Hello and welcome to my garden. My name's Jodie if you haven't been here before. So today we are going to go for a tour of the vegetable garden. It is a beautiful winter's day here in South East Queensland, Australia, and I thought it was the perfect time to show you what is growing. We live in a subtropical environment here, which means that we can actually grow all year round. Obviously things are slower in the winter, they don't grow quite as quick, but we can grow plenty of things and the garden is actually really full. So let me take you around. So we would start up here in the herb planter that we redid together. So the possum has been back for a visit. You can see that the parsley has been nibbled once again. So I might actually have to start covering it, I think. Otherwise we've got some thyme, sage, oregano, chives, and then here I've actually thrown in some spring onions that I just saved the ends of, ones that I bought, and then shoved them back in the ground, and they are regrowing. So that's pretty cool. My vegetable patch consists of 4 raised beds joined together by 2 arch trellises. They're jam-packed at the moment with lots of cool weather crops, and I will take you bed by bed and show you what's in there. We also have our beehive over here. I got down here nice and early to film this before bees become too active, because recently every time I come down here they're getting stuck in my hair. So I thought if I did it before they were all out, it might be a little bit safer. However, I can see that there's actually plenty already out doing their foraging. Okay, so in this first bed we have a zucchini plant. It has got quite a bit of powdery mildew that has started developing, but it has lots of fruit on it. Fortunately, the fruit don't seem to be getting very big. I think it's just too cold for it, but we will keep trying and see if we can get a bit of fruit to develop as the weather warms up over the next few weeks. Here we have some Australian yellow lettuce. It's supposed to be quite a heat tolerant lettuce, so I'm getting it started now, knowing that the weather is about to warm up, and hopefully we can keep it going for a little bit longer. We've got 2 volunteer tomatoes that have popped up that I just moved to this trellis here so that they can grow up that. So I have no idea what varieties they are. I'm not planning on growing a lot of tomatoes this year, so I thought that I would just grab a couple of the volunteers that pop up and we'll see what we get, and that way we can get a few little tomatoes for fresh eating, but not too many. We also have a row of beetroot along here. These are the which variety are they? I can't remember which variety they are, but they're a red beetroot. And then we have golden beetroot down here. We also have 2 sweet potatoes that have started in here. One here and one down there. That one's not quite as big. And while I'm waiting for them to fill out the rest of this bed, I thought that I would infill with some Chinese greens mix, and they're doing really well. Down here we actually have quite a few interesting ones. I'm not really sure what they are. I'm going to have to do a bit of research to figure it out, since this just came from a mixed seed. So if anyone knows what they are, please let me know. And then down the end here we have some garlic and a Cape gooseberry. So this Cape gooseberry was doing so well and it was covered in fruit, and I was really excited. And then cockatoo has come in and has destroyed it. I found a big branch of it down on the ground with the first ripe fruit half eaten. So hopefully it will fruit again and we can actually try some. I might have to end up covering it. It seems to be the theme in our garden at the moment. We're having to cover from possums and cockatoos. Speaking of covering, this is what the rest of the garden looks like, with all of these covers to protect my broccoli plants, because they were getting stripped by the cockatoos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly uncover all of these and then we'll come back and have a look what's in the beds. Okay, on our trellis here we have sugar snap peas, and we've actually got plenty of flowers. Now we actually have our first peas that have developed here, so need to start picking these. They're delicious. Down here we have some spinach. This got destroyed by the cockatoos as well, so it's only just starting to recover, and I can probably start picking a few leaves here and there. We've got some rainbow silver beet, and again got destroyed by the cockatoos, this one particularly, and it's making a very slow recovery. We have more mature beetroots in here. They still haven't started bulbing up yet, so hopefully it won't be too long for them. Oh, looks like a bit of a volunteer tomato in there as well. It's pretty funny. And then we have some broccoli here, which have actually started heading up. I don't think I'm going to get particularly big heads this year. And I've got some sort of like, is it aphid problem? Look at those gross little critters down here. I have come down and blasted it off with the hose once, but it looks like I'm going to need to do that again because they are everywhere. Recently just moved this container from our front garden. It was in the wrong spot down the front garden, wasn't getting used very well, so I thought I'd put it down here, and it's an extra planting space. I have not obviously filled it up yet or planted anything, so hopefully we can get to do that soon. This bed here is full of broccoli and it is growing really well, however, and it is all starting to head up. However, I've just noticed that this plant down here has a bit of the same like aphid issue that the other bed has, so I'm going to have to get onto it with the spray as well. Not the pesticide spray of water. See if we can knock it all off. I'd prefer not to have to spray any pesticides in my garden if I can avoid it, so we'll see. In here I also have some more Australian yellow lettuce and some carrots, and they're both growing just very, very slowly. It's probably because they're shaded out by these broccoli, but eventually these broccoli will come out, and then hopefully these will get a bit more sun and be able to take off. So plenty of flowers and a couple of baby fruit have started on these. As the weather warms up, I'm actually going to have to cover these with some very fine mesh bags, because we get the Queensland fruit fly here, and they will actually pierce these fruit and lay little larvae in there and destroy the fruit. So I have to get onto that reasonably soon. But look, we've got quite a few coming, which is exciting. Once all this broccoli actually comes out, I'm thinking of making this all my chilli and capsicum bed. So I've got some more seedlings started up in the house to put in there. Okay, so this is the final bed. It's got the arch trellis here full of all of the snow peas, and they are just loaded with snow peas. So I have to come down here later and actually pick a heap for a stir fry for dinner tonight. But my daughter in particular has loved just snacking on these. Then we have another zucchini down here. Again, heaps of powdery mildew, which is just what we have here. A couple of fruit on it. This particular plant has actually been developing slightly larger fruit. So I'm not sure what the difference is between this one and the one down there, but at least we're getting something. I've got a couple more broccoli plants in here. This one got absolutely destroyed by a cockatoo, and I didn't think it was ever going to actually head up, but it looks like we might actually be getting a little head in there. With so few leaves, I have no idea whether it's actually going to do anything, but at least it's trying. And then these ones don't seem to have aphids, so that's something. We've got a heap of pak choy that has gone to seed because we've had a couple of like 24-degree days, and some more Chinese greens mix. Again, I have no idea what this is. I really need to do some research. This looks like it might be just a bigger, pak choy or something, but I don't know what this one is. So yeah, if you know, please let me know. We have our lettuce that we've been eating off all winter long. And it has just started to bolt now. So hopefully the other lettuces we've got planted will be able to come in and take their place, because imagine we're not going to get too many more harvests out of these. What are you doing on my pak choy, little bee? There's no flowers down here. And the final thing that we have down here in the vegetable garden is this Mr. Stucky planter. So it's mostly planted out with strawberries, but whenever there was a gap, I put in some more Chinese greens mix. So these are starting to grow quite nicely. And then when they come out, I will fill it up with some more strawberries. I've also got some lettuce down here, which they're packed together so tightly. I actually might transplant some of these out into the main garden, give them a bit more space. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour of my vegetable garden. I'm really excited for the upcoming spring season and what we are going to be able to grow in this quite a small space. And I really hope that you will join me for that. So please subscribe if you want to follow along with what I get up to in my garden this year. So good. Another volunteer tomato. So this is why I don't really need to plant any, I don't think, because they're just popping up everywhere. Just spotted we've got a volunteer cucumber. So I wasn't planning on planting any this year, but looks like we're going to have one anyway.